Hi there, Eric Bakker. Thanks for coming back to the channel. We're talking today about parasites, about Candida, about bacteria, about the same things that we often talk about. I've got a lot of questions here to go through. Here's a question from a subscriber wanting to know if a Candida cleanse is fine just by using walnut, black walnut, and Coptis chinensis, or what we call gold thread. So these two herbs are commonly used by a lot of people, for a whole wide range of different purposes. So black walnut is a beautiful tree. There are many different types of walnut. I don't know if you've ever seen a walnut tree growing, but when those pods drop, they can create a real big black mess on the ground, this dark kind of stuff. And if you get it on your clothes or on your hands, it can stain. And this stuff's called juglone. So juglone is a kind of chemical that's sometimes used to stain clothes or stain leather or stain different things. And black walnut also contains a lot of tannin in it. So tannin's quite astringent. Tannin, for example, you may be familiar with something called witch hazel. So witch hazel is very astringent. It's got very high tannin. Gives you that kind of funny, dry kind of taste in the mouth that you might know from tea, for example. So tannins have quite an interesting effect on bugs. They also have a great effect on toning different areas of the skin. Witch hazel is often used on the face for that reason, to tonify the skin, to draw it up and make it tighter. Black walnut is used traditionally for worms, pinworms, hookworms, tapeworms, roundworms, many different kinds of parasites that are worms in particular. It's great for that. So it's pretty useless against Candida, to be honest, but it's great for parasites. Now, Coptis chinensis belongs to a family of herbs that produce a chemical, an alkaloid called berberine. Now, berberine is fantastic for use as an antifungal, antibacterial, and antiparasitic. But using both of these herbs together is not enough for Candida, unfortunately, because you're missing out on underselenic acid, caprylic acid, garlic, neem, many other things you're missing out on. So this is quite a narrow approach if you want to take out a problem in your tummy, for example, if you've got bloating or gas. Just by taking these things like Coptis or black walnut, or independent herbs, or putting your own formulas together. You can do all that, but you'll find you're going to get limited results. Because this is how I worked for many years with patients. I was recommending all kinds of products from different companies and then trying to make some kind of a formula for people. And I found that I just wasn't really getting there. Berberine is a great herb, is a great substance to use with people, but you need to go wider and broader if you really want to target Candida. And for that reason, I recommend you use something with grapefruit seed extract in it as well as those two fatty acids, underselenic acid and caprylic acid. Once you can combine those two with garlic and grapefruit seed extract along with something like Coptis, you're going to get a much, much better effect. I saw an interesting YouTube video about a person with all different kinds of firearms trying to shoot something, penetrate a piece of steel or blow up like, a piece of wooden tree stump with different types of firearms. And it was an interesting exercise. They started with a very small caliber handgun, and all they could do was put a little dent in the piece of wood. By the time they worked right up to 50 caliber, they blew the whole piece of wood apart. But they were inflicting damage on this piece of wood with the different types of firearms they were using. Can you imagine if they'd fired 5 or 6 guns at that tree at the same time, what kind of effect they would have had? They would have obliterated the tree into a lot of pieces. That's how I sort of think a rationale when you're trying to work on someone's digestive system. There's no point using a slingshot against Candida, but also you want to be careful not to use, a huge big weapon that's overpowered. You want something that's balanced. And that's why when you're looking at antimicrobial, find something that's got multiple ingredients in it that target parasites, that target different types of dysbiotic bacteria, SIBO for example, small intestinal bacterial problem, but also that target different types of fungi, different types, so not just Candida, but various other types of yeast. When you find a product like that with all of those ingredients in it, you generally don't need a lot of it and it's going to work. So to answer the question, black walnut and Coptis, are they enough to do a Candida cleanse? They're not. You need to do more than this. All right, this is just a short-sighted approach that many people use. And testing before and after this kind of an approach will show you that it's just too weak to be effective against Candida. Thanks for tuning in.